It is Dom time. Welcome in. And I just noticed, Justin, that Philadelphia, Dan, is pausing trash collection. You know, one of the essential things that you have to do. I get it. Concerned about the outdoors, concerned about their workers. There is one city government function, though, that they will not cancel, at least that I'm aware of. And Dan and I, here's the hint 855 839 1210. What is it? Dan and I rail about it ever since January of what we go through every day. What is it? I don't care if it's like Blade Runner out there. You know, if it's Boy, I don't have enough in the throat today.
Hey now. Must be that smoke out there.
Yeah. Must be that smoke out there. That the city of Philadelphia will not stand down and send its squadrons out. Some of them, and they're proud of this, on bikes. What is that, do you think? But they have canceled trash. When they say pause. Yeah. When they say pause, what does that mean? How long of a pause on trash collection? Like 855-83, it should be obvious what it is.
The city's going to smell so bad soon.
That they will not
trash
pause.
Plus the smoke.
Under any circumstance. All right, so Mike Pence announces yesterday, and I want to play you this. Some of it is visual, and then I want to make a point about what's happening here. Mike Pence ran an ad yesterday that attacks Trump as a weak man. That's going to be his, anthem here. All right. And one part of it is the January 6th stuff. Okay. The other part of it is Putin, but there's a third leg in this. Here's how the Mike Pence ad sounds, and I'll give you the third leg, and I'll tell you why Pence and on a bank shot, DeSantis are both dangerous in this stuff of where this campaign is going. Here's the Mike Pence ad.
A weak man appeases a mob. A man of courage and character stands up to them. That day, one man failed the test of leadership, while another stood tall. And since then, this so-called leader has continued to abandon our conservative principles. Now, with a woke mob trying to take away our freedom, we need a president who won't flinch, who won't try to cut deals with our values. A president with the courage and the faith to lead us through turbulent times.
All right. The thing in here that they hold up a placards, our values. Sorry, Mike Pence, it's not my value on this. And I don't care how much you browbeat, how much you want to say, well, then you're not a conservative. It's Trump or the abortion thing. I think Trump is exactly in the position that the nominee of our party ought to be. DeSantis is not. He's got to reposition. And Mike Pence is trying to go further than DeSantis. Here's why it's dangerous. They get into Iowa. They're going to duke it out over so-called Christian values. And the big one is abortion. Now, Gallup poll has a big poll out today that says social conservatism is the highest that we've seen since 2012. All right, here's the mistake, though, Dan. You know what they're going to read into. I'm telling you what that means. That means more people, even younger people, are sick and tired of Dylan Mulvaney, of shoving transgenderism down your throat, of the unreality of all this constantly. That's what I think they mean by social conservatism. I don't think they mean they want to ban abortion. If you read it, that's what social conservatism means, then we're going to have the same thing that happened in the midterms. What's the issue that drove in the midterms? Other than Democrats drove out their vote better, mail-in ballot, we've been through that, the infrastructure. Well, it was abortion. Absolutely, that's what it was. It was like a Taylor Swift concert drawing these young women out there.
You think the trans issue can take center stage for conservatives?
As it's not just about the issue, it's about the extreme, pushing the envelope too far, not just per se the whole issue, but the extremism of it and the constancy of it.
Yeah.
And maybe with kids with ghastly operations. Yeah. You use it, though, to make the broader point of it never lets up they're pushing this farther and farther away from traditional values. And this is the best example we can give you now. But you don't make it just about transgenderism. You make it about attacking traditional values.
Yeah.
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 But if you go abortion, Mike Pence can't wait the 6-week heart week or something like that. You keep on doing this. Trump is the one that is in the stronger position. It's obvious to me. But in this ad, calling him a weak man, Mike Pence says he betrayed on the issue of abortion. Now, we've been through this, and it's apropos. Today, one of the giants of the evangelical movement, even though I was never that big of a fan, Pat Robertson, passed away at the age of 93. CNN and MSNBC essentially savaged him in their obit today. Mika Brzezinski smirked, was an all-time smirk.
Oof.
I mean, it was just an all-time smirk from this woman. And look, Robertson said a lot of wild things. I get it. And they kind of blame him as the linchpin, and he was there at the beginning. He ran for president in 1988. And here's the point about Iowa, Dan. Pat Robertson running for president in 1988 came in second among Republicans on the issue
Really?
of, second in the caucuses in Iowa. Pat Robertson. I don't think he contended in any other state, but second in 1988 in Iowa. All right. I wanted to talk a little bit more, though. Have you been to the Museum of the American Revolution? Okay. I've been there. I don't think I spoke there. I was brought there by a couple different groups to do various things over the years. Once to interview people when they were opening it for a radio station. And I
That's the
like,
big one that's right on like 6th there, right?
no, it's on
It's down on 3rd?
third.
Okay.
Yeah, it would be third, and Chestnut is the main and third, just down from third is the main entrance.
Got you.
Yeah. And I like the idea that they were going to, with the Museum of the American Revolution, feature other stories, other voices, some of them African American, some of them that are women, some of them Native American, some of them gay. But I think they've lost their mission statement. They've been taken over. It's not about that now. What it is another political apparatus. And what it's about is attacking our sense of the American Revolution, not enhancing it. So the museum in Old City is now in an uproar because Moms for Liberty, and here's the Inquirer, right? No context to their readers. They say the Moms for Liberty is going to hold a welcoming event there. They were recently classified as an anti-government extremist organization by the Southern Poverty Law Center. They just say it as if the Southern Poverty Law Center is any kind of authority on anything. They go on to say, here's the statement petitioned by 39 staffers there. Listen to the one part here that's amazing in the beginning. We do not feel that any dollar amount is worth endangering the safety of the museum staff members in the building on the day of the event. What the hell do they think the Moms for Liberty are going to show up and do?
Middle-class mothers,
Yeah.
they're going to take over the city.
They think they're going to be walking in, well, I got my shotgun. Let's get over here and get a cocktail here, and we're going to clean our weapons off here.
Mothers walking around with Molotov cocktails.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Burning down police vehicles.
So it's not just they're against them on that ground. They're against them because they think they'll be in danger. The Inquirer goes on to say, Moms for Liberty co-founder said in a statement, name-calling parents who want to be part of their child's education as hate groups or bigoted just further exposes what this battle's about. The second thing, they go after them, and I understand this is a more reasonable thing we can debate. They say, we're trying to tell the full story. Moms for Liberty don't want us to hear that story. Now, how many times do we hear this? You have the 1619 Project, which is, to me, racist, anti-American, anything that you want to say that's negative, and a lie, and based on faulty scholarship, if scholarship at all. And they want to hold things like that up and teach that in schools. And then they want to say, if you're opposed to that, you don't want the dark side of America, the negatives, slavery, the things that have happened, you don't want kids to know about that. This outfit at the museum is saying the same thing, that Moms for Liberty doesn't want the full story of America. And I think this whole museum, based on this, their full story of America, these staffers that signed this, is anti-America. They want to run it down. They don't want to broaden it and say, well, these voices you didn't hear about them. We ought to hear more about them in the history books. We're doing more of that. That's not what it's about. It's about attacking, and Moms for Liberty are the people they want to do with that. The curator, who is Trish Norman, who is non-binary, said, I don't feel appreciated nor safe anymore. I don't feel the museum necessarily has my back.
Come on.
Because Moms for Liberty are coming in. Maybe they'll bring babies with them,
have
honey.
Have a conversation with Tina or Vicky. Like they're
Yes.
really great, nice women. Like,
Yeah, exactly. Then they liken them to the Proud Boys. They say during meetings, employees asked,
oh, they're the Proud Boys now.
where's the line? Would the museum rent to the Proud Boys? Well, I wonder if I would ask old Trish, how about if they rented to Antifa? Would you be okay with that? Probably, yeah. What are you talking about?
Yeah, come on. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
They're
Moms
anti-fascists.
for Liberty. Dan, you got to get in touch. I got to be invited to that event, the welcome event.
You want to see if they want to come on
inside.
and respond?
Yeah. We get them on and respond. Sure. Yeah. Megan Brock probably. I mean, can you imagine fighting to cancel a Moms for Liberty event? That's their mission. And I supported this museum. We've done stuff. I talk about them over the years. Well, it enriches it. I found stuff that I didn't know there that was amplified a bit more. I'm all about that. But Moms for Liberty is not. Why would we have them there if they reject everything that we stand for? It's going to be interesting to see if they disinvite Moms for Liberty. How could a group that's not even here yet, that are mothers, that go to school board meetings and the like, get Philadelphia so crazy? Because Philadelphia doesn't want debate. Philadelphia has its own mindset of dysfunction. They want to be in this little bubble. And anybody outside that, they want to make you feel unwelcome, really drive you out. Well, I hope Moms has a lot of guys with no necks for security. That would be the Constitution's good. It says it right here. In Philadelphia, what would I rather wrap myself in, the Constitution or 50 guys with no necks? I'll take the 50 guys with no necks. Okay. Hey, you got the Constitution. Yeah. Don't quote the Constitution to these people. Guys with no necks, we're here. Here's our invitation. Get lost. All right, 855-839-1210. Side question. Today is National Best Friends Day.
Hey.
Yes. So we thought, real or fictional? Give us your all-time examples of great friendships, real or fictional. Now, the fictional probably is easier than the real. Let's take off the board because somebody will call in with Affleck and Matt Damon.
Yeah.
Let's
right,
take that.
Right when I said it, like the first thing Maisie said to me was, who's that guy that hangs around with Matt Damon?
What?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
It wasn't who's the guy who's bigger, Damon or Affleck in your eyes? You think so? Batman over there?
Well, it's not just him. He's married to J-Lo.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's bank shotting off that,
Who's the guy that's friends with Matt Damon, she says.
Oh, my God.
And she
Between
goes,
her and
isn't that the
Roe,
guy that Jimmy Kimmel hates? I go, yeah, that's who Matt Damon is. Yes.
He hates Matt Damon?
Yeah, there's like a whole running gag that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well,
I
endorse.
hate that I know that about the
Let me
Jimmy
see.
Kimmel show.
Which one do I despise more, Kimmel or Damon?
Or Affleck. Throw them all in.
I'd say Kimmel out of the three is more disgusting than even Ben Affleck.
I mean, you give a guy a platform every night to spew.
Yeah. He's more sanctimonious, and that's saying. All right, Dan, I'll ask you: Springsteen, Jimmy Kimmel, Affleck,
Springsteen.
I knew you would say that. We could have put Hitler in there, and you would have
it's
said
it's just because the love in this local area. If I lived like halfway across the country, I'd say it's not Springsteen, but it's just
All right, I'm going to take off the board Bert and Ernie.
Oh, what a great answer.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So it could be real or fictional. Do you have a real one? I might have a real one too.
No.
No? Okay.
I didn't have one ready to go. because I got so many fictional ones on mine that I'm like ready to rail those off.
All right, hit us with a few.
Joey and Chandler from Friends. I know you love Friends. Really great representation of real life New York City. Yeah.
You know what? I like to watch the news at 10 o'clock. It's on Channel 17. Channel 6's news at 10, just to see if there's anything I need a little more work on. And I catch 30 seconds of it, and I just
come on, watch a whole episode. You like it?
I flip out of it and have to flip back.
You're a hipster. That's what a hipster is. It's too popular, so you don't want to try it. And
yeah, that's right. I am contrarian might be a hipster contrarian.
Yeah, there you go, hipster contrarian. Dom's your dad over here. I'll take also a more realistic one, Dom. Since Joey and Chandler aren't realistic in your eyes, how about a SpongeBob and Patrick living under the sea?
A good one.
Yeah,
excellent one. You have a dog and a cartoon character. I don't want to take yours.
Yeah, I like the impression. Let's leave it out there to see if our guy that loves to do the impression calls it in.
That's right. Yes. Yeah. And nobody's answered yet. What is the one city agency other than fire and police? They know they have to do that they will not shut down. They've shut down collecting trash today. They've shut down fixing potholes. Like, are we going to notice a difference? They said paving and potholes.
They've shut. Actively working on a pothole.
They've shut that down. So we don't need that. City council shut down. That's always a good thing. But what is the number one agency they will not shut down? Come on, think about that. Hit me with that. Come on. I don't want to say it yet.
YouTube.com/@1210WPHD every day. Like and subscribe us, please. We are live with Dining with Dom. And, that side question's out there now. Famous best friends, real or fictional. We got a regular who contributes every day on our YouTube channel. We love to have him. It's Fred Flintstone. And he said, me and my best friend, Barney.
That is a very good one. Yes. Yeah, that's kind of what we're looking for. So best friends day. Yeah, and Jimmy Kimmel's the worst out of those. I mean, that really takes something.
Yeah,
I
might actually agree. Yeah, thinking about it more,
I think the Zioli show would say probably Affleck, but I get it. With you, it's Springsteen. We're going to have to work on that to get past. All right, 855. Let me throw Jim Kenney in there. He's not a national figure, but among misanthropes, he's right up there. 855-839-1210. Coming up. I'll give you some details on how screwed up they are in Canada as far as clearing the forests before we get this disaster that we have. And they are going wild as suspected. I mean, you knew, particularly the King of Hair over in New Jersey tweeting out, it's climate, I tell you, it's climate. Why is that not really what happened in Canada? I'll give you some details on that too here on Talk Radio 1210. All right, welcome in, everyone. Dom Giordano Show. Mayor Pete has just spoken after he grounds everything in the world because of the haze. And he was on MSNBC telling us how electric vehicles and chargers would stop forest fires. Where is, and I'm never going to call him Smokey Bear. Where is Smokey the Bear?
Smokey Bear.
No, it is Smokey the
Smokey Bear.
I don't know how that change happened.
It's officially Smokey Bear now.
What
Dom.
is
It's
it
2023.
what is it with these places, these snooty things that do not like the in there, like the Ukraine, like the Cardinals?
Well, what other country did you call the? I feel like that was inevitable for
Okay.
Ukraine to drop the
How
right?
about Stanford? What happened? They used to be the Cardinals. Now it's Cardinal or whatever they did. They don't call it the. And you can't
You're right.
use up with it.
That's a good point there.
There's
yeah.
a lot of these that don't like the in there. So now I always will say Smokey the Bear.
Smokey
Come
the
on.
Bear.
Smokey the Bear.
Smokey
Hey,
Bear.
I'm Smokey Bear, but I want Smokey the Bear. All right, 855-8. Oh, let's go to Kevin in Northeast Philadelphia and see what he thinks the city of Philadelphia will not shut down. Hey, Kevin, good afternoon.
Giving out parking tickets. That'll never stop.
Exactly right. I think I saw them out there, specially fitted masks. They're breathing, giant oxygen tanks are with them. Yeah, they will
What did I win? What did I win?
Our love,
Yeah.
Kevin.
Well, you are a sharp insight. Now, we don't know, though, Kevin, if they shut down the bike patrol of the parking authority. We're looking into that.
That's a 1-2. That's a 1-2.
Thank you, Kevin. Yes, it is the parking authority. We have no word that they are shut down. We do know that trash collection is paused, as is paving over potholes and the like. Oh, God. I don't know if Larry Krasner gives everybody the day off.
I love that they announced we're not going to be paving over potholes like they actually were. That's hilarious.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they put all these
Oh,
directives
yeah, we're
out.
not doing it anymore. Yeah, because
Why should the parking ticket people be out there suffering then? Don't they? I haven't seen them hooked up with masks and everything else. All right, 855-839-1210. At the end of your call, hit us with that friendship. Now, sad to make mention of, but I wanted to take a moment and pause and just remember Robert of Old City. Yesterday, his wife, Amy, called in, and Dan and I were saying, well, whatever happened to Robert, the guy with the infectious laugh, the character? I mean, sometimes it was bizarre stuff, sometimes incredible stuff.
I mean, Robert was just every time the guy called in, even screening the guy's calls.
Oh, yeah.
It was like a breath of fresh air, man. He always had that laugh, that giggle, always started with a joke.
Yeah, Robert apparently passed away, and Amy has our deepest sympathies and condolences. But I wanted to make mention of the fact that sometimes over the years, I've actually met most of the callers who call in regularly, like Robert, and we did a couple times. I remember it was right around when COVID was shutting it down. He bid $500, Dan, on lunch with us, and he brought it, I think, in 20s in a vanilla envelope down to Chicky and Pete's where we were broadcasting from.
Yeah,
it was like a mob payoff.
Yeah.
And people don't get that talk radio is not just politics. And I'm sure over at the Museum of the American Revolution, they think it's just these people that all rant about the same things. It's a club. We've said that for years. And advertisers, the local advertisers are part of it. Without being blasphemous, it is kind of the holy trinity: the host, the listeners / callers, and also the advertisers, and how they all connect together in this wonderful mechanism of talk radio. That's the way that it works. And someone like Robert is dearly missed. We didn't know it, though. But there are, particularly, Dan, I got to say, toward the end of the show, because of the side questions really blossom.
Yeah.
We have 3, 4, or 5 people. Joe of Exton is an example.
Joe of Exton, Bruce in the Northeast, Gary in Newtown.
The Earl of Tacony.
Earl of Tacony.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I don't know who are the most prominent.
Lori and Ringo's.
I was going to say she's the most prominent female caller.
I don't know. I think Fisher-Pine might have.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Jim's working on an impression of Leslie. Jim, how's that going? Can you do any Fisher-Pine?
Real quick.
Any Leslie? Leslie at Bryn Mawr?
Here we go. Jim?
Jim, how's that going?
I don't think he has one.
All right.
Yeah.
He's screening
My,
calls.
but also Minnie. I mean, Minnie in our social
Well,
media too.
Minnie's
Like
in
we have
Texas,
we have a
too, right.
community over here, and
Yeah.
YouTube. Just the past couple of weeks, we built a YouTube community with Ipso Facto, Secret Squirrel. I mentioned Fred Flintstone earlier. Joins us every day. Just the loyalty of our listeners, man.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So there's nothing like that. And all the years, all the calls, the ones I remember were the ones most personally connected to Luke, DJ, Roe, those kinds of things. So, Robert, one of a kind, though. You don't hear guys like that. Just a beautiful spirit, funny guy, and never a call that was ranting or well, only occasionally.
No,
When something was
Robert's
happening in
thing
the old
was
city.
he always
Yeah.
just always had fresh jokes.
Yeah,
Sometimes they
exactly.
didn't hit the mark,
Yeah,
and that was
exactly.
the fun of the jokes. But then
Yeah.
other times they were hilarious. And what happened was, if he told a bad joke, his laugh alone was just so infectious that you just had to
Exactly.
laugh along with the bad joke. And
Right.
man, Robert, I miss the guy. He was I believe he owned a store in Old City.
That's why he was able to call in a lot.
Yeah. And I mean, he invited us down a couple times. He's just a really, really good guy. Hassan bin Sober, another valuable Twitter person that always around. He says, very sorry to hear about this, Robert. My condolences to his family and friends, and I echo that to Amy and her family.
Yeah, and Amy called in yesterday with an answer. A side question was about something Russian because Robert must have always talked about that. So thank you, Amy. Thanks for texting Dan. Phone lines are 855-839-1210. You get on board. I mentioned a moment ago, Miranda Devine has the best piece on this today. A couple people have very good pieces. The Canadians, apparently, with these wildfires, she cites all kinds of information. Back in 2016, Parks Canada planned. Now, think of how vast Canada is, how much forest land. Just 12 prescribes burns for the years. The agency's retired fire management coordinator of 23 years warned about the importance of the practice to prevent future wildfires. Then Miranda Devine, writing in the New York Post today, says in 2020, a paper in the journal Progress in Disaster Science warned wildlife management agencies in Canada are at a tipping point. Pre-suppression and suppression costs are increasing, but program budgets are not. In other words, they haven't been doing these controlled burns. And the weather conditions, it's happened many times, are perfect. And apparently the wind currents are perfect. And you end up with what we have. Now, you have to be a moron not to want to be a good steward of the environment. But what does that mean? What's the line there? What are the metrics? That's what I always want to know. And the metrics of the other side, two things about them. They're completely unrealistic, like AOC. And two, they don't want to do them themselves. They can't. They get caught all the time. Is there a bigger hypocrisy? There might be one. But I got to say, the Al Gores of the world, the AOCs and others, blaming on this, they can't live that lifestyle. They don't live that lifestyle. And yet, that's what they're trying to force other people to do. Yesterday, it was taking away gas furnaces. Not just gas stove, gas furnaces now. It's endless. They won't do it themselves, though. That's the bottom line on it. All right, phone lines are 855-839-1210. But this is going to continue. They will continue to make this point. We will see it again and again and again. On the other side of it, when we raise the issue at the shore, look at what you're doing to whales and dolphins, or we don't know, but it's possible. What's their response? Nope, we're not going to listen. The wind farms, as ghastly as they are, that's what we're going to do. In fact, you're probably going to see Phil Murphy use this whole situation to make the case even more on that. Headline, Smoky New York isn't climate change, it's bad forest management. All right, let me take one on our side question. Who are great friends? Richard in Westchester. And Richard, I like yours because they were kind of frenemies. They were enemies, too, at the same time.
they were vicious enemies, Thomas Jefferson and John Adams. And
Yes.
over the years after their presidencies, they wrote letters to each other. And by the end, they were actually good friends and died on the same day, July 4th. It's really eerie to think about that.
It is, and, I could be in that thing, and I'd say, "I'm gonna outlast him by a second. Tell me what time Jefferson died. Let's get that on the record," you know?
Tell them, maybe Moms for Liberty can bring that to teach that to the people in the American Revolution Museum.
Good stuff, Richard. That is a very good one. Yeah, that's the type I'm looking for. They're not just palsy. I mean, there was real and I mean, Adams, unforgivable, running against Jefferson. Jefferson beat him, never got a second term, and Adams was not a guy who you messed around with. I mean, he carried a grudge, et cetera, which I wholly endorse, and they did die on the same day. That is almost hard to believe.
Zarb Tran writes in, Dom, an alert has been issued that the Mothers of Liberty will be armed with assault Swiffers.
We got to play with that on Twitter and call it in. Hit us with another one. Yes. The Moms for Liberty, when they show up on the 29th over at the Museum of the American Revolution, will be armed with what? Assault Swiffers. That is
Those things
perfect.
are weak, man. I break those things so easily.
Yeah.
You ever use a Swiffer?
Well, Ro usually takes care of it.
Okay,
But yeah, she sometimes sends me. There's one room, the powder room, way downstairs. I've had to clean. Yes, I use.
So
that.
yeah, I the Swiffers, and I'm a tall guy, so I'll lean on the Swiffer, and just the slightest amount of weight will like crack the thing in half, man. So those
That's
assault
good.
Swiffers, man. We have to find something else for these.
That's a good way to get out of work then. So Maisie has to pick up that duty too. That's what I'd recommend. All right, phone lines are 855-839-1210. What will the Moms for Liberty be armed with when they come to the revolutionary, maybe muskets, since it's the Museum of the American Revolution. Can you imagine? They're worried about their safety because Megan Brock and people like her will show up at their welcoming party. Oh, man, wait until they get a load of Trump and DeSantis coming to town on that. 855-839-1210. Let's talk batteries plus bulbs. My buddy Roy with two big stores and his trusted advisors. Batteries plus bulbs in Mount Laurel on Route 73. And then there's the Northfield store on Tilton Road. Roy goes all out. Customer service is key, and that means being knowledgeable, finding solutions. If you're in business, anything technology related, if it's your phone, they know exactly what to do. Here's one review. Matt Pierce works for the fleet of vehicles. He wrote, hey, my experience is batteries plus bulbs, great place to grab any batteries or phone repairs. This place is batteries from cars to pickups, heavy-duty tracker batteries. The owner is a nice guy, not afraid to come out and give great advice. If they don't have your battery, typically the next day they can get it. Great weather. It's coming our way. So if you need any batteries for seasonal needs, batteries for boats, motorcycles, ATVs, and more, this is the place to go. As I said, customer service, the key. Reach them with your question, your concern. Let them help you solve it. 856-638-0778. Batteries plus bulbs, Mount Laurel and Northfield, 856-638-0778. Dom Giordano Show, 855-839-1210. Side question today, Best Friends Day, real or fictional? We'd love to hear yours. That Adams Jefferson was a real good example. And tell me what you saw in that friendship. Why does that one pop out to you? A couple of things. That guy we talked about yesterday, and we're trying to get him on, that was arrested for disorderly conduct in Reading because he felt that Pride Month was sinful, and he was across the street reading biblical verses about it, and the Reading police locked him up, has been let go from jail and charges dropped. The DA just said, well, there's no disorderly conduct here. You know, I hope he sues. That's what you have to do on this because, as I said, people are having an event, a pride event. Okay, I don't think you can go and get in their face and be screaming to shut that down. Police have a right to set up some kind of distance between the two parties where you get to make your point, but you don't get to just disrupt what they're doing, however you feel about it. But you do have a right to express yourself. He was across the street, was 75 to 100 feet. He didn't have any kind of electronic equipment. You know, whether you agree with what he was saying or not, or particularly if you disagree, you got to support the idea. He has every right to say it. And does that then make these people feel threatened that they can't do their pride event? No. What the police seem to be saying there is no. That's a hate crime of itself of some sort. They're saying pride. If you're saying it's not prideful, it's sinful, then you're going to be arrested. That's obviously not true.
They weren't saying anything super hateful, yelling slurs, nothing like
Right.
that.
No, they were not.
It was just Bible verses.
Yeah.
and-
Now, if they are, then, again, got to
Yeah.
take total context here. I think if you're far enough away, essentially you can do all kinds of things. It's a space. I'll tell you why, from my perspective.
Mhm.
I've done events where, we were in a public place, and I just insisted with the civil affairs cops who are worthless in Philadelphia, Dan, that you got to give us some space. It can't be right on top of us that every time I say something, they try to shut me down. They're going to get pretty tired because I'm not going to stop. But
Yeah.
you can't disrupt in it. So I'm having like a sidewalk thing here on the Constitution. And in Philadelphia, the civil affairs people, they think they ought to be able to shout you down. At the Art Museum, we had the sitting governor, Corbett, and one of these cops says, well, I'm going to let each one of these 60 people stand up for 1 minute and yell out what they want. And I just said, no, you're not. We're in the Art Museum. What are you kidding me?
It really sounds like your stance here is no matter what it is,
Yes.
everyone gets the right to express their First Amendment with, amount of space where it's okay for them to, state their message, right?
Well, the law is clear. If you're making an explicit threat of violence, explicit,
Mhm.
yeah, then it's disorderly. Then it could stop you. But short of that, they weren't. He just saying it's sinful. And he was going to read from the Bible why it's sinful. You may not want to hear it, but that's perfectly legal speech to me.
Where's it drawn though? Because I gotta say, we were going to the Fan Expo this past Sunday, and there was a gay pride parade. And at the same time, a couple blocks down, they weren't. I think this is purposely set up this way, where the gods hates the F word, the F slur for gay people. And I gotta say, like, I'm a conservative guy. I'm on conservative radio, but even walking past closely to them, I felt very uncomfortable. But to make your point, even Philadelphia police, hyper progressive city, they were given the space to state their message, utilize their First Amendment rights. Cops were there with their backs turned to them, protecting them from a crowd that was yelling back at them.
Mm-hmm.
It was an uncomfortable situation.
Well, look, I hear you, but I'm not holier than thou, Dan. I will confess to you, as I have to the audience before, because now this is the South Philly part coming out. As much as I'm a constitutionalist.
Yep.
When those Nazis and neo-Nazis chose to march, and you could look it up, I don't think you remember, Skokie, Illinois, which had the highest percentage concentration of any city, small place in the country of Holocaust survivors, and they're goose-stepping around there. I hate to admit it, the South Philly part, you're not goose-stepping through here, buddy.
Yeah.
You're not doing it. I'm flawed. I mean, really, I think they have a right to do it, but my sensibility says, yep, I'm flawed. You're going to have to lock me up, but you're not goose-stepping through a place with Holocaust survivors. Just not going to have it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm wrong on various court decisions, I believe. The other one I would give you where I couldn't take it, but what were they called? The Patriot Riders figured out a smart way to do it. That group you're talking about with the F word and all, they're out of Topeka, Kansas. They would show up at funerals of people that died protecting us in the Iraq War with signs saying your son or daughter, as the funeral cars are coming in and all, died because America has embraced
Yeah.
the F word. And the Patriot Riders would show up and they would block them by standing in front of them so that they weren't visible. They still stood there.
Mm.
And I think the Supreme Court ruled, or a number of them, that he had to be 500 feet away on that. So,
Wow, even the Supreme Court ruled that they have the right for their First Amendment.
right. But they did think that there could be some
Yep.
stipulation on that. So I'm flawed on this, just like anybody else.
Yeah.
But in this case, with this guy, he was far enough away, in my judgment, in the judgment of the law. He shouldn't have been locked up in that. Now, if he kept on, something else happened, there can be a limit after the initial thing. But this is like we got to get him. This is a textbook case of a guy I differ with bothering these people, but he has every right to do it.
It really seems, and I don't want to, state the actions of police officers
Right.
or anything, but in the video, if you watch it, it seems like there was a personal vendetta that the cop had against this guy. Maybe the cop, or maybe the guy
Yeah.
was being a troll and annoying
Yeah,
the cop, and
he
then
was. Yeah.
and the cop essentially used the
Overreacted.
force and
Yeah.
arrested the guy. And
Yeah.
I'm with you. You can't let your personal emotions, feelings get in the way of your job.
Yeah. But as I said, in Dom's world, goose stepping through Skokie, Illinois.
Yeah.
Oh, well, you don't believe in the Constitution then. Sorry. It's just, I hope I never change on that. I can't see myself saying, oh, yeah, got to allow goose stepping through Skokie. Let's go to Greta. We haven't heard from her in a while in Gloucester Township. Hey, Greta, how are you today?
I'm doing great, Dom. I didn't get in yesterday. I had my white Russian in my hand waiting.
Oh, that's a great answer.
Okay.
But today I have Oscar Madison and Felix Unger.
That is a great one. The ultimate odd couple. Yes, that's how many shows, how many things did Jack Lemmon and Malthal do and Klugman out of that? There's got to be like 5 iterations of various things. Grumpy Old Men, the whole thing. All right, 855-839-1210.
I swear Jack Klugman gets a reference a day on our show.
Oh, he does, without a doubt. By the way, Greta just mentioned something that triggered me. Don't forget, Sea Isle City, Captain Chucky's this Saturday. Hope you're going to show up. Love to meet you. They'll be giving away Dom rolls and some other goodies, cutting the ribbon of the brand new store, the McCann's. Ro will be with me. Looking forward to that a lot. And thinking about that, when we talked about Robert, meeting various listeners over the course of time, there is nothing like it. So that'll be one opportunity coming up. And today, Krasnerland at 4:00. Dan, you didn't even ask me for any material this week.
Oh, yeah.
Given the stuff that happened with the wildness of I-95, et cetera. It seems like a month ago. It was the beginning of this week.
And not only that, there's a new game being played in the city of Philadelphia and other inner cities where kids are doing wheelies into driving traffic coming towards them and swerving out of the way right at the last second to avoid being hit by oncoming vehicles. So I have some video of that as well happening on Broad Street.
And people know when we talk about homicide and all, you and I get it, though. It's the wildness of what's going on in Philadelphia. And wildness happens when there's no respect for the law. And younger kids are getting wilder and wilder.
Yep.
That's as much of the problem as anything.
Michael writes it on Twitter, Dom, on this topic of Robert, some listener social events would be so much fun. I'd love to meet some other listeners. At least, you don't have to censor yourself politically. And just back to that event, Michael, I think what you're talking about right there is what's happening at Captain Chucky's this week. So,
yeah, that's one. Yeah, we try to do more of that. I'm always agitating with Greg and all, we should do more stuff, usually bar related. I mean, a nice trivia night. Yeah.
Didn't you used to have listening parties?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We should have more of them now post-COVID. Let's see if we can get that going. I gotcha. Yeah, that is a great thing to do, particularly when you see the person all those years has been saying stuff like, oh, come on now. You're not Robert of Old Sea.
Well, I wonder what Bruce in the Northeast looks like. I've never met the guy face to face, never seen a picture.
Yeah, right. Well,
he's such a distinct voice.
All these years, Dan, when they meet me, I've told you many times, short, fat, Bald. Where did
Yeah,
they get the
they
bald
always
from?
think you're short, fat, and bald. It's the
Yes,
opposite.
exactly.
You're
Yes.
tall, slender, and
Well, we have to go a little bit on that one.
well,
Yes,
one
yes.
guy that came out though, we did an event open Mayfair, and Earl actually came
Yes.
out, and what a guy Earl is. Not only did he come out, he essentially helped helped
Yes.
us the entire time. Helping with equipment and all.
He
So
fits with his phone calls. He
yes, he
fits.
does.
He does.
He's
Yeah.
what you'd imagine Earl to be.
Exactly. The Earl of Tacony. All right, 855-839-1210. Speaking of Captain Chucky's, though, it's always a great time to get Captain Chucky's. I guess I'm talking about Captain Chucky's 7 or 8 years, but especially now, they've added 2 delicious new ravioli varieties to select from. Captain Chucky's and the Vera Pasta Company present the Banging Crab and the Lobster Ravioli. Perfect for graduation season. Captain Chucky's also has several choices of breaded, non-breaded crab cakes, so literally a crab cake for everybody. Listen to all this stuff. Dessert, soup, sides, appetizers. My personal favorite, the Dom roll. They use only the highest quality ingredients. Their Gulf shrimp is a huge hit. Always wild caught, never farm raised. Why not try that banging crab and lobster ravioli this weekend? And it's so easy to get Captain Chucky's. 18 big stores, soon to be 20 locations. Say hello to Wayne and Elaine Jones in Chester Springs, Frank Chirillo in Blue Bell, John and Cindy Clark in Huntington Valley. In Ocean City, see Chris and Donna Ryan. In Sea Isle, see the McCann family. And in Avalon, see the Vasilati family. Sea Isle and Avalon open daily from 11 a.m. Ocean City, Thursday through Saturday from 11 a.m. Congrats to Sam Cancelleri and Irish Mike McGarry as they prepare to open their new Captain Chucky's in Medford, New Jersey. Coming soon, Northeast Philadelphia, Home Circle, the Graziani family. So remember, 2 websites now. We love crabcakes.com, but if you're headed to the Jersey Shore, check out Captain Chucky's at the shore.com. That's CAPTN Chucky's at the shore.com. All right, it is Dom time. Welcome in, everyone. 855-839-1210. You get on board. So Mike Pence in, Chris Christie in. And I think that Mike Pence, in the end, helps President Trump. The one place where I think that Trump, we kind of stumbled upon this yesterday, could lose just like he did in 2016, is Iowa. Evangelicals, the abortion issue, you don't know. Even though he still has a substantial lead, DeSantis has closed quite a bit since he announced in Iowa. I'm talking about. You got to look at these in the early states. That's where it really matters. But Pence may cut into that evangelical support that DeSantis might get on abortion, thus helping Trump. But Gallup today says that social conservatism has its highest rating since 2012. Gallup is a good poll. It's substantial enough, it's big enough, it's trusted enough. And Gallup has not found as many people identifying as social conservative since 2012, which said it was a time when respondents consistently identified more as conservative than liberal on social issues. The percentage of Republicans who now say they're social conservatives rose significantly in the past 2 years from 60 to 74%. Pollsters also noted increases in most age groups, 30 to 49-year-olds. So the biggest rise, jumping 13 points from 22% to 35%. Now, some people can misread that. I'm sure Mike Pence and his staff, they'll be misreading it, maybe DeSantis, and they'll think, go down the abortion runway here. If you make the case of the extremism on abortion of Democrats, that's fine. But if you go around with 6-week heartbeat bills, that's not going to move America. In fact, it's going to cost you big time. All right, we have a little bit later, Dom's Money Melody coming up, big 1 o'clock hour. Phone lines to get in, 855-839-1210. Today's side question, a simple one, Best Friends Day. Hit us with one, real or fictional. I like the Adams Jefferson. That was good. Think a little bit outside the box on it. You could be a winner. Name goes into the hat. And Krasnerland today at 4 on the station's Facebook page. Big 1 o'clock hour, Talk Radio 1210. Let me tell you first, though, about Dr. Bentz. And that Dr. Bentz, first of all, is my... Oh, it's the wrong thing. Okay. Am I okay? I saw something there. I didn't look. I saw a C. All right. I can wait, Dan. I'll wait to tell you about Dr. Bentz. My fault, not producer error here. Host error. Rare to admit it. 855-839-1210.